My name's Danny Foote. Most people need money, right? The average person would say yes to this question. But unfortunately, most of us need a job to have money. So unless you have a family that's just filled with money and you just have millions and millions of dollars sitting around collecting dust, you probably need to pay attention to this in the economy right now. We're going to look at the Democrats' point of view on the subject. On November 3rd, 2011, there was an editorial published in the New York Times called "Putting Millionaires Before Jobs." To understand this editorial, we must first look at why we should tax the rich more, how they think this will help, and what my personal opinion is. To understand why we need to tax the rich more, we must first look at what this is going to do. Obama plans on taxing the rich a 0.07% surtax on top of what they're already taxed yearly. This is going to pay for the bill by itself. That's an important fact of it. This is going to apply to the people who make $1 million or more in the country. This adds up to about $13,452 per person on average. There's about 345,000 people in this category, which is a really small number considering there's about 350 million people in the U.S., so it's about the 1% margin that we always hear about. So this is your old family rich, your high-paid CEOs, maybe some of your sports stars. Second, we need to look at how this is going to help and how they think this is going to work. Obama plans on spending $60 billion to create jobs. Most of this is in infrastructure repairs. $50 billion is going to be set aside directly to rebuilding roads, bridges, airports, and other mass transit systems. This sounds pretty good. Because I'm from Wayne, and if you've ever been there, almost every highway around there is just horrible. Some of them you can't even drive a car down without shaking yourself half to death half the time. The other $10 billion of this is going to go into an infrastructure bank, which is there to encourage the private sector to invest in big public works projects. Third, I'm going to tell you my personal opinion on the subject. I think it's a little ridiculous to spend $60 billion to create jobs in this aspect, because most of these jobs are going to be construction oriented. And from my personal experience working construction, when there's a lot of work, there's a lot of jobs that are needed. But once those jobs are done, there's not a whole lot of work to be done. So they're just going to be unemployed again. So to spend $60 billion on maybe 2 to 3 years of labor, that seems kind of ridiculous to me. I think there's much better ways to jumpstart your economy and to create jobs. For example, I think we need to start to find a demand in the world, and we need to supply that demand like we used to. To understand this editorial, we need to know why we should tax the rich more, how this will help, and then I told you my personal opinion. $60 billion to create jobs and to tax the rich more probably isn't a bad idea. But you gotta remember, most of these jobs are going to be construction oriented, and I think there's going to be more profitable ways to create these jobs. For example, my supply and demand and exporting idea. I think it's really sad today that almost everything we buy in this country is made overseas. Think about it. When was the last time you looked on the back of something and had the letters USA written on the back?